from the title of my talk, you would think that this is just another nature versus nurture story. Well, it is. But the difference is that I'm not going to just talk about it. I'm going to make you guys actually live it. So just close your eyes and just imagine with me. You were adopted by South African and Canadian parents at birth, and you lived a simple life in South Africa. You played, you studied, you were even grounded when you misbehaved. However, at 17, you moved to Canada to study at the Queen's University before moving to the University of Pennsylvania to study economics and physics. Simple. Now, until 1995, you had lived the life of Elon Musk, one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time. Now, the real question is, would you have gone to eat the $1 hot dogs? Would you have gone to sleep on office floors? Or would you have gone to create multi-billion-dollar enterprises from nothing? Now, this is where we sometimes stand at crossroads. Some people say that our genes are the ones that create our personality, while others argue that it's actually our experiences that carve our own personalities. Now, I'm here to challenge this system. I'm here to challenge society. And I'm here to ask, what if it was never about nature versus nurture? What if it was about how they shape each other, powerfully, constantly, but quietly? Now, before we understand and answer this question, we have to know what personality actually is. And one of the most regarded psychological theories in psychology is the Big Five, or the ocean perspective, which focuses on classifying our behavior into 5 different structures. So first of all, we have openness to ideas. Now, this shows how we are curious, we are creative, we are open to new experiences. High openness shows that you are an explorer of thoughts, while low openness, you may work with tradition or the familiar. Next up, we have conscientiousness, and no, it's not consciousness. Now, this tackles your self-discipline and reliability. And high conscientious people, they tend to be planners, list makers, and goal setters, what we all dream to be. While low conscientious people, they are spontaneous or even disorganized. We also have extroversion, how you are stimulated with social interaction. Extroverts thrive on company, while introverts, they prefer small groups or even solitude. We also have agreeableness, how compassionate or cooperative you are. High agreeable people, they are empathetic and kind, while low agreeable people, they are blunt, skeptical. They are sometimes even competitive. We cannot forget neuroticism, which focuses on our emotional stability or even instability. High neuroticism shows that you are stressful, you are anxious, while low neuroticism, you are calm, resilient, unshaken. Now, these 5 structures, they create a certain psychological fingerprint, and they tend to be constant over time. They help us predict how we work, argue, love, succeed, or even fall apart. And it is crucial that I should see myself through the lens of the Big Five. For example, my conscientiousness and agreeableness, they just feel inherited. My father's structured planning just shows up in my daily planning, while my mother's empathy just lives up when I interact with others. However, I see certain types of personalities where I can relate to due to my experiences. For example, I'm open to new ideas just because of one conversation that changed my worldview, while stressful events, they caused me to just interact with others, to be an extrovert. Now, the same stressful events, they had me anxious, they had me stressed, but they also taught me to control my emotions, to be resilient, high in neuroticism. Now, we have to see where do they actually come from, which is why we start with nature. So when I first saw the Minnesota twin study, I was like, what if I had a twin that was raised somewhere else? What if we had the weird sense of humor or the same favorite snack? What if he was watching me now from this camera, or maybe this camera, maybe this one? We should meet up, we are twins. Now, this study focused on twins that were raised apart, that were raised sometimes from opposite sides of the country. One pair of twins had named their two different dogs the same name, Toy. Such a unique name, but is it a coincidence? Maybe. They even married different women with the same name, and even both worked in law enforcement. Now, when tackling the ocean perspective, you can just see how our genes are important. However, they are not the entire story. If they were, I would just stand here, and even if Elon Musk's parents adopted me, could I never have turned out like him? So no billions of dollars? Well, our genes are not the whole story. We also have nurture. Now, the Dunedin experiment is a study that was held in New Zealand, and it tackled to study over 1,000 people. And it was not just their genes, but their parents, their neighborhoods, and their traumas. And the results were astonishing. We could see that children that were raised in warm homes, they tended to be conscientious people, while children that were raised in anxious homes, they were stressed, high in neuroticism. So in the end, we can conclude that, yes, our genes are important, but our life, our choices, our experiences, they are important too. And they form each other like a sculpture and like a certain clay or a sculpture. They work together. So maybe the question isn't would I become Elon Musk, but who would I become if I gave both my genes and my experiences the chance to actually grow and create the space between who I am and how I want to present myself. Thank you.